because this video is coming out on the 4th of May. Happy Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. Hi guys, what's up? My name is David and welcome back to my channel. So I've been looking for my older content recently and I was wondering whether I would still agree with things that I've said throughout I think it's been 2 years of this channel, and I've come to the conclusion that, yeah, I pretty much still stand by what I've said, which led me to question whether I would consider this channel educational or not, which then leads me to the point I want to talk about in this video, which is knowledge, where to get it from, and if some forms of knowledge are more acceptable and legitimate than other forms of knowledge. So, by the way, if you don't know me, hi, my name is David. I am a second-year student of Scandinavian Studies at the University of Amsterdam, but I am currently on exchange at Stockholm University. So I have experience with higher education. Now, of course, I know that there are people who know more than I do because they have an even higher level of education. Like, I don't even have the degree yet. But that doesn't make everything that I say somehow less valid, less true, you know? Like, of course, I don't know everything. And anyone who does claim to know everything is probably a charlatan. For me, it's okay that I don't know everything. I'm just very happy to share what I do know with you guys. And I'm always more than happy to receive feedback or comments on what I've said and whether you agree with that or not. But I always used to think that getting a university degree and, you know, university level knowledge, it was the only type of knowledge and the only way to be seen as smart, educated, knowledgeable, wise, whatever you want to call it. But after being in university for 2 years now, I've actually started to step away from that. So while I do think that getting a university degree is definitely a nice way to get a package of facts / knowledge that fit together nicely and can make you an expert on a specific topic, it's a nice way to learn how to acquire more knowledge. But whether you get knowledge or not is really up to you and what your intentions are when it comes to getting a degree. Like for me, studying humanities, I don't do it to get an extremely high paying job or something, because I know that, you know, I won't get that with my degree, and that's absolutely fine.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
There are industries which are more popular these days, like scientific programs. So for me, getting knowledge is not necessarily some kind of tool to be able to get a job. Like, I'd rather get a job within my industry and get paid a bit less and be happy with what I do in my life, rather than spend my youth studying something I don't like just to work a job that I don't like but have money. Like, that's not the life for me. And if it is the life for someone else, that's fine, you know, but not my thing. But that does not take away from the fact that I have always had a thirst, a want for knowledge. I remember when I was younger and I used to do Polish Saturday school, I was known as the walking Wikipedia because I know a lot of random facts, and I like knowing a lot of random facts. It's just my party trick, I guess. So I've always been seen as a person with knowledge, I guess. And that's all thanks to my parents, who really wanted their kids to be highly educated. And because of them, I always thought that, you know, getting a university degree is the only thing that matters in life. And of course it's not, but it's still important to me. So anyways, what I realized is that there's so much more in life that you can just get knowledge from. And I was wondering if my channel was educational or not. And to be honest, I think anything that you can get any sort of knowledge from is educational, even if that knowledge is just knowledge of someone else's experience or someone else's life. That is still educational, and that can still help you with your own life. Like, for example, me being a trans person on the internet, even if I just share my personal story that might not necessarily be educational in the traditional sense. Like, you don't learn facts or statistics or anything like that. There's other trans people like Jamie Dodger, who has a PhD in trans psychology, who can actually give you real researched facts on being trans, because that's what he did. But I, as a trans person myself, can just share my experience, and if that gives someone insights into their own identity, that is educational to me, right? Does that make sense? And I know that I am just an undergraduate student, and I do plan on getting a master's degree and a PhD if I can. So, like I said, I have a want for knowledge, and the socially accepted way to get that is through getting a university degree. But because I don't have a degree yet, everything that I say is somehow seen as less valid, because, how do you know that you don't have a degree yet? Well, let me tell you. So I had this subject on the Viking Age within my degree of Scandinavian Studies. My degree focuses mostly on linguistics and relatively modern Scandinavian history and politics and culture. So the Viking Age was actually just a very small part of it, but I personally am very interested in it. So before I started this degree, I already had quite an extensive amount of knowledge on the Viking Age from things that I've read, listened to, thought about, seen in museums. And I didn't really learn anything from that subject. And that was kind of the moment I realized that university is a nice way to get knowledge, but you can get to know the same things just by doing your own research. And this sentence, doing your own research, is of course highly problematic, because it's generally thrown around by people who are like anti-vax or flat earth or whatever. And what they say by doing your own research, they mean do not trust any research that other people have done, and just Google yourself. And that is not what doing your own research means to me. To me, doing your own research is just reading up on stuff that you like or are interested in or want to know more about. And even if that is reading or hearing something that you don't agree with, it can still function as educational, because it makes you more sure of your own position about the subject. Like, I've had to read many papers and articles throughout my studies, and there have been articles by people that I disagreed with, but that didn't mean I didn't read them. I read them, I saw what was there, I understood the point, and I just decided that that is not an opinion I share. And once again, I study humanities, so a lot of things within humanities are highly opinionated, and there's not really one real truth. So I know that within other sectors like beta studies, like sciences and stuff, there are things that are just factually correct, and you cannot just disagree with them. Like, there's people who do, like people who say they don't believe in gravity, but gravity exists. Like, yeah, it's a concept named by people and explained by people through the use of mathematical formulae, which are developed by people to explain natural phenomena. But that doesn't mean gravity doesn't exist. It wasn't invented, it was just discovered. If gravity didn't exist, then there wouldn't be anything holding us back to the surface of the Earth. So yeah, even things like gravity or other terms that are considered, facts, they are still man-made. They are an effort of humanity to make sense of the world around them. But yeah, that only illustrates my point that knowledge comes from all different types of experiences. Just observing something can give you knowledge. Like, that is how gravity came to be discovered. The whole anecdote of Isaac Newton, who saw an apple falling to the ground and then realized that that is how that works. So sometimes it's just the simplest things in life that give us more knowledge. Sometimes it's just talking to someone who happens to have a completely different life experience than you, which then makes you realize how different your own life is, or I don't know, just thinking about things and connecting them with each other, knowing a bit about one thing and then knowing a bit about another thing, and then seeing how these things correlate to each other. For me, that's a lot with languages. Like, I grew up speaking a Slavic language and a Germanic language, and then also English, and now Swedish, German, Spanish, Italian, Latin, Old Norse. I can go on, but that's not. So for me, I kind of always grew up with this meta commentary of like, okay, this is how this is called in one language, this is how this is called in another language, which already from my childhood it kind of made me aware of the arbitrarity of things, that just because it's called a bird in one language doesn't mean it's also called a bird in every other language. But and then you can start looking at the etymology. The more languages you know, the easier it is to see connections, if there are any connections between these languages. Like, there's this whole Proto-Indo-European theory that shows how most European languages are connected to each other. And yeah, by just studying individual things, you can start piecing together a bigger and bigger whole. But my goal is not to have infinite human knowledge. Like, I get comments from Christians saying how they believe in some kind of like one truth or something. And to be honest, I don't think there is one truth. I think multiple things can be true at once. Like, for example, I can say that I was born on the 10th of May, which, by the way, is next week. And that is true for me. Like, I was born on the 10th of May. But it is not true for everyone. But that does not make it less true for me. And even if it seems factually correct, the concept of having months and days is still, well, a human construct. I was born in May based on the calendar that we have in the Western world, which starts with January and ends with December and happens to have months that are 28, 30, or 31 days. But if I were to be born in a non-Western country, then my statement on being born on the 10th of May suddenly stops being true. So someone born in another country who uses another calendar, who was born on the exact same date as I, can still have a different birthday, So that does really make you realize that just because something is true to you and just because you know that doesn't make it the truth for anyone else. And that brings me back to my own channel and being trans, being queer. I am not saying that everyone is and everyone should be, because I know that that is not the reality for everyone. Is the reality for me, and talking about it might help other people realize that that's how they feel. But if that is not how you feel, then that is absolutely fine, But that doesn't change it for me. I will still be trans no matter how much people tell me that they don't believe trans people exist. Like, I'm sorry, but I exist. I know that I'm some person on the internet and you cannot actually touch me, but trust me, I am a real person. I know it's difficult these days with AI and stuff, but I am real. And I exist. And, if you have a different opinion on that, then sure, but that's not going to stop me from existing. So yeah, that's just what I wanted to share for today. I promised a less negative video last week, so I hope this one is a bit less negative. Let me know down below in the comments what your thoughts are on knowledge. If you're still watching this video now, let me know down below what the most weird or cool or interesting fact is that you know, because I always love learning new random facts. So yeah, if there's anything you want to share, let me know down below. If you want to talk to me about anything, I have an Instagram. It is in my description. You can go follow me there at thisdavid. Like, it is, but without the I. You get it. And yeah, as I've said before, I am always open to learning new things, and I'm always happy to hear that people have learned new things because of me. And I am not claiming any authority on any subject. You're always welcome to disagree with me. You're always welcome to share things that you think go against what I've said, because that will make me reevaluate my opinion and what I know about the subject. And maybe what I say will make you reevaluate what you know about a specific subject. And I think that's great. We humans are able to build these huge networks because we're able to share knowledge with each other and communicate. And that's how we create these communities on like the internet, for example, which is not a tangible thing, but it's just a network of ideas. And I think that's beautiful actually, even though it can be a horrible place sometimes, but it's nice that it exists. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Maybe make a less intellectual video. We will see. Yeah, thank you for watching. Bye bye.